Welcome to the League of Nerds comic book segment number 153. I'm John Cooney here to talk to you about comics being released the 24th of December 2014. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Let's begin as usual with my first five, meaning these are the first 5 books I intend to read this week, and I'll give you a little more depth on them, starting with at number 1, Uncanny X-Men number 29. Everything over the last several months has been leading to this, a turning point for the X-Men, and it all revolves around their deceased former mentor and leader, Professor Charles Xavier. Series writer Brian Michael Bendis talked about the fallout from this story, quote, without giving too much away, a character we did not know about from Charles Xavier's life, what that character means and what that character can do, and what that bomb dropping on the X-Men will do when the pieces all fall down and they start to put the X-Men franchise back together again. What will it look like a year from now? It's going to look completely different from what we have right now. Close quote. The preview pages for this issue show Magic with Doctor Strange, and Bendis spoke about her recently. Quote, there's a lot that's going on with her powers and her training with Doctor Strange, which I'm a big fan of. A lot's going to happen. Her perspective on some of the things that Scott Summers is going to do may make her have a change of heart about where she is and why she's doing what she's doing. Close quote. At number 2, we've got All New X-Men Annual number 1, The Secret Life of Ava Bell Part 2. Part 2 of Ava Bell's journey through the ages. With limited control over her powers and even less control over her destinations, Ava believed herself lost in time. But just when she had come to accept this as truth, her world was once again ripped asunder as she is once again sent tumbling through time. Series writer Brian Michael Bendis discussed the inspiration for Ava's character, quote, thinking about the scariest power in the nicest person's hands, she is a genuinely good person who was going to have a very ordinary life on the Gold Coast of Australia. Then this happened, and every time she uses her powers, something new is discovered about them. Things get scarier and scarier, and this is the biggest chapter of that. It's very hard to invent new superheroes and something that people haven't seen before. I think this annual shows what makes her different from all others. What also is cool is that she's going to places in the Marvel Universe that have never been in an X-Men book before. We're going to see some characters that will be familiar to people who know their Marvel handbooks, like, say, Killraven. That's just one of the people we'll meet, close quote. At number 3, we've got Robin Rises Alpha number 1. It all ends here. Batman's been to the hells of Apocalypse and back just to retrieve his son's body. But what has he brought back with him, and who is the new Robin? Spoiler alert for last week's Batman and Robin 37, where we saw the return of Damian Wayne. Series writer Peter Tomasi discussed the changes we'll see in Damian. Quote, we wanted to have some residual effect after all this. You want something that will come out happy. You want a nice, satisfying ending, but at the same time, we're talking periodicals and drama. If there's no conflict, there's no drama. If there's no inner turmoil, there's no drama. So the one thing that comes out of this is Damian has powers as a residual effect of the Chaos Sliver and the Omega Beams, and also Batman's own hope and wishes that he's poured into the Chaos Shard when he does indeed bring him back. So the world will discover that Damian has superpowers, and now obviously that's a wrinkle in the father-son relationship. He's just gotten Damian back, and obviously they worked really hard to grow as a father and son and try to understand each other. And now, as all kids who have that feeling of immortality when they're young, to have superpowers on top of that, for someone who's come back from the dead, is definitely going to be an interesting dynamic between Bruce and Damian, close quote. At number 4, we've got Batman Annual number 3. Don't miss this top secret tale that ties into the endgame storyline running now in Batman. Sorry, but that's all we can tell you. Trust us, it's going to be big. Now, although the annual is written by James Tynion IV, series writer Scott Snyder remains the endgame architect and describes it as, quote, a huge cinematic story that's also personal to me in the way that it's all about Bruce coming to terms in a lot of ways with the idea that no matter how big he makes himself, no matter how big Batman is, he's still just human, and there's no cure for that. There's nothing that's going to prevent one of those nightmarish endings from happening one day. It will come. So it's sort of like, is this it? So it's very personal for me, but it's also meant to be the most bombastic and over-the-top and fun in a twisted way story that we can do with these characters as a way of saying thanks to the fans and thanks to the character for being so awesome for 75 years. Both of them. Close quote. And at number 5, we've got Superman number 37. Can there be peace and goodwill towards people without a price? Jeff Johns and John Romita Jr. serve up some holiday shock as they answer the question and more in the penultimate chapter of Men of Tomorrow. And be warned, some significant changes are in store for the Man of Steel to ring in the new year. Series writer Jeff Johns told Comic Vine about his take on Superman.
When I took over the book with John and Klaus and everybody, one of the things I talked to our editor, Eddie Braganza, about, who I've worked with forever, was wanting to get more into Clark Kent, get more into the the heart of Superman a little bit. Like the New 52 made him younger and tougher and really explore that alien side, and I wanted to kind of get back to the human side of him while also contrasting that with the alien side, because that duality is something that I really love exploring, and Superman is how he fits into our world, and I think he's a very hopeful and optimistic character, but that doesn't mean that he's completely got everything he wants. And so when I read all the New 52 stuff, there wasn't a lot of human beings he was talking to because no one knew his secret anymore, and his parents had been killed off. And so introducing Ulysses was something that we consciously wanted to do so that he would have someone that would kind of pull some things out of him, and we could explore his feelings and emotions in a new way, but a very superhero-driven way.
Rounding out the top 10 at number 6, we've got all new X-Factor number 18. Access tie-in, Sunfire returns to X-Factor with an odd proposal. Meanwhile, the team is dispatched to the Middle East to intervene in an ongoing war between two countries. At number 7, we've got Daredevil number 11. Daredevil's recent traumas have him coping in an unexpected way. A mystery that's been building since issue 1 starts to pay off big. San Francisco now has 2 men without fear, and only one will be left standing. At number 8, we've got She-Hulk number 11. At long last, it's all come down to this. The Blue File revealed. Titania versus She-Hulk. Angie Hong, no more. Eep, eep. At number 9, we've got Batman Eternal number 38. The refugees from Arkham Asylum think there's safety in numbers, but not if one of them is Bane. And at number 10, we've got Nova 25. Access tie-in. Oversized monumental 25th issue and great jumping on point. Things are changing for Sam Alexander, aka Nova the Human Rocket, so get on board to the fastest moving comic in the business. For the best of the rest from DC Comics, we've got Arkham Manor number 3. All is not as it seems as Batman's plans unravel in Arkham Manor, and Jack Shaw investigates the serial killer who's murdering inmates. Next, we have Bodies number 6 of 8, 4 time periods, 4 detectives, 4 murders, identical MO, identical location, same body, and now 4 murderers step into the frame, all very different, yet all unnervingly familiar. It's time for our detectives to face their quarry, but which is the hunter and which is the prey? We've also got Catwoman Annual number 2. The Hasagawa crime family has been a big thorn in Selina's side as she grapples with the underworld. Now learn the secret of how their stories intersect. Next, we have Dead Boy Detectives number 12. After her whirlwind adventures with Charles and Edwin, Crystal's supernatural entanglements can't be shrugged off, particularly when Charles is looking to get as entangled as metaphysically possible. And so Crystal is almost relieved when Tragic Mick turns up to the treehouse, bringing with him a very unexpected visitor. We've also got Deathstroke number 3. Deathstroke's taking bigger and bolder risks as the hunt for his stolen memories continues. Slade will be pushed to the edge to achieve his goal, but will he ultimately be undone by executing his way to the truth? Next, we have Gotham by Midnight number 2. Internal Affairs Agent Rook is learning the Midnight Shift really does have the hard cases, and Jim Corrigan may not be able to bail him out, at least not without some divine intervention. But can Corrigan risk letting loose the wrath of God, especially against a departed sister? We've also got Grayson Annual number 1, At Last, The Secret Origin of Helena Bertinelli. And we've got Secret Origins number 8. 3 more stars of the DC Universe shine as their origin stories are revealed. Don't miss the DC Comics New 52 Origins of Grayson by Tim Seeley, Tom King, and Stephen Mooney, Animal Man by Jeff Lemire and Travel Foreman, and Katana by Anna Seni and Cliff Richards. From Marvel Comics, we've got Avengers and X-Men Access number 9 of 9, Act 3, New World Disorder, Who Will Live, Who Will Die, Who Will Remain Inverted, a shocking climax that promises to crack the Marvel Universe to its very core. An old foe must claim the mantle of his greatest enemy to save the lives of all he cares for, an X-Men's horrifying fate, an Avengers' appalling choice. If you read only one comic this century, this is it. Next, we have Captain America and the Mighty Avengers number 3, Access tie-in. You've dreaded it, you've dreamed of it, now it's here. The Avengers War. With Captain America and Iron Man bringing the full power of the Avengers against the Gem Theater, can our heroes possibly survive? Guest starring Spider-Man, but which side is the wall crawler on? Next, we've got Cyclops number 8. The cutthroat space pirate crew Scott Summers is joined up with is rampaging across space, plundering and cutting throats. And now Scott is expected to cut throats with them. Exactly how far will Scott go to save his skin and to rescue his captive father? At least on the romance front, there's some good news. Scott's discovered there are other girls in the universe besides Jean Grey. But let's just hope the pirate captain doesn't discover Scott's got an eye on his daughter. Get it? Eye on his daughter? That's a Cyclops joke right there. Next, we have Death of Wolverine, the Logan Legacy number 7 of 7. It's all come to this. The heroes and villains closest to Wolverine, Mystique, Daken, Sabretooth, X-23, and Lady Deathstroke, make a monumental decision that will forever alter the legacy that Logan built years forging. That is, if they survive the threat of the vampiric menace challenging their goals. We've also got New Avengers number 28. In 5 months, time runs out. And we've got Superior Iron Man number 3, The Last Temptation of Matt Murdock. After the life-changing events of issue 2, Matt Murdock is faced with an impossible choice. Will Daredevil rebel, or will he buy into Tony Stark's vision? Can nothing stop the Superior Iron Man's non-stop party? You'll be surprised at who wants to crash it. From Dark Horse Comics, we've got the massive number 30, Dead Calm, Quiet Seas, Second Chances. The Ninth Wave crew enter a brand new chapter in Earth's history. From Image Comics, we've got Revival number 26, Blaine Abel, demonologist, all-around evil scumbag, but now he's on the side of the angels, offering his expertise with the supernatural. Can M trust a man who she once ran into an 18-wheeler? And from Valiant Entertainment, we've got Unity number 13, A Renegade Stands Against the United. Even the addition of the bright and bubbly Faith Haber, aka Zephyr of the Harbinger Renegades, can't solve Unity's PR crisis in the wake of the team's actions during the Armor Hunters attack. But can she stand against the threat of an international strike force known as the United? And what secret is the U.S. harboring that threatened to push the world to the brink of war? Out in trades this week, we've got Nova Volume 4 Original Sin trade paperback, Original Sin tie-in, The Watcher's Eye presents a pair of mysteries. Was Nova's father a murderer? And what is the secret origin of the Black Novas? Sam Alexander grieves for the Watcher and turns to a friend for help, everyone's favorite Guardian of the Galaxy, Rocket Raccoon. As the secrets of the Black Novas and Sam's dad are revealed, Sam's world is torn apart. But can he come out of this stronger? Plus, when the Alexander home is threatened, there may not be anything that Nova can do to help out. And when Halloween rolls around, Nova joins the students of the Jean Grey School for trick-or-treating in trouble. Collecting Nova number 17 through 22. And we've got Twilight trade paperback, DC's science fiction hero star in this title collecting the 3-issue 1990 miniseries. Twilight tells the story of how one of the Star Rovers became a living god when caught in an explosion with a race of immortal creatures called Methuseloids. It's up to renegade hero Tommy Tomorrow to stop his former ally, but he ends up absorbing Sorensen's power and becoming an all-powerful tyrant himself. Okay, so that's just a few of my favorite books out this week. There's still plenty of others available, and I broke out all the Marvel titles this week in their own video, as well as a separate video for all of DC, and even a video with the top independent publishers. You can find them all on my YouTube channel at he'sgotissues.com. And we'll also have links up on the leagueofnerds.com, our Facebook page, so be sure to like us there too. Of course, you can follow everything I'm reading on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, or Twitter. You can find links to everything in the About section at he'sgotissues.com. And a reminder that both He's Got Issues and the League of Nerds are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. So until next week, I'm John Cooney saying Merry Christmas, and I've got issues.